30 seconds and counting. Team.
Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. It's Anish, DJ, and today we're going to be going over some trade proposals to move up in the NBA draft. And surprise, surprise, they all include Christian Wood, who has been very popular in trade talks revolving around the Houston Rockets. He's been rumored to be traded before the trade deadline, and then after it passed, we were like, why is he still on the team? But now people are considering trading Wood to move up in the NBA draft. And DJ, before we begin, why are we even considering trading Wood?
Well, to start it off, Wood is not a bad player. In fact, he is pretty much the ideal player that you want offensively from your big man. A modern guy who can really stretch the floor, take the ball inside from the three-point line. He can do a little bit of everything. Great shooter, has a pretty good touch around the rim, athletic, a lob threat, pretty much everything you need. His only thing that's not really what the Rockets are seeing in their future is his defensive consistency as well as his age. He is a little bit older than our younger core. And, the fact that you can't really play him and you need to have a defensive guy right next to him, or he needs to be that defensive guy. And, the Rockets don't really necessarily can see that. He's also on the final year of his deal after this year, so his contract is a lot more favorable. He's not making much money, so teams are definitely willing to bring him in order to be like a third guy or a second, third, maybe fourth guy on a championship level team or a team that just wants to contend. So there's a lot of different reasons to trade him. But, just the fact that the Rockets are looking to build up in this draft, get a load of young talent, and they want to get a big who they can pair alongside Jalen Green.
Yeah, and the thing is, we don't want to lose Wood for nothing, right? He's a free agent next season, I believe. So you don't want to lose Wood for nothing. And I feel like his timeline or what he wants, it's not the same level. Like, he thought he was going to play with Westbrook and Harden, and all of that changed. And so I feel like he really wants to be on that win now team. And we saw it in the season where he seemed checked out, mentally disengaged, didn't show any effort, and even chose to not sub in at times and at John Lucas's request. So, it's just really weird, this predicament with Wood. Right now, it seemed like now trade deadline has passed and he's still on the team. It looks like he's here to stay, but we still hear these trade rumors still circling around. So maybe there is a chance that he does get traded, but this is a very big decision for Stone to make. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with our first trade proposal. And this one includes trading Christian Wood and pick 17 that we got from the Brooklyn Nets and traded to the Portland Trail Blazers for pick number 7.
Right. So in this trade, I can honestly see this trade benefiting both sides, and this is really all up to the Trailblazers. Are they planning on going full rebuild, trading Dame away and these older vets just going full rebuild, rebuilding out guys like, Anthony Simons, Nasir Little, and whoever else is on their team, and whoever they want to draft with this 7th pick? Or do they want to look to trade this for a guy, like a third guy who they can have? And Christian Wood can be that guy. He would pair really well, probably at the 4, alongside a guy like Dame, because he knows there is a hierarchy in this team where it's like Dame gets that ball. Dame is that guy. Second would probably be Simons, and then third would probably be Christian Wood, something like that. So there is a clear pecking order, in which case I feel like Wood would definitely, be more inclined to, do better and play his role much better versus in the Rockets where there's no really clear pecking order. And, in the Rockets side of things, we get pick number 7, and we can definitely get a really, really good player at that, whether it be a guy like a Jalen Duran, Benedict Mathurin, AJ Griffin, pretty much maybe even Keegan Murray if he falls. There's so many good guys right outside that, that top 4 that can come in, be win now guys, and really, really grow with this young core.
Yeah, I think another thing we forgot to mention is that at pick number 17, you're kind of picking from the tier 3 of draft prospects. So that's why there's heavy incentive to move up in the draft to kind of get a better pool of players to draft from. So that's the reason why. And I think Christian Wood with Nurkic is actually not a bad fit. Like Nurkic is more of a defensive guy. That might, even though it's like a double big lineup, it didn't work here in Houston. I think it actually might well in Portland. Let's go on to the next one. This one is the Rockets trading away Christian Wood and Jayshawn Tate. 2024 first round pick from Brooklyn and a 2022 first round pick from Brooklyn, which is pick number 17. And in return from the Kings, we get Richaun Holmes and their 2022 first round pick, which is pick number 4. Before I start, I think that we might have to give up a little bit more. Number 4 might be a bit more valuable. But what do you think about this trade, though?
With this trade, this is an amazing trade. The Rockets are able to pull this off, but it's also one that, like, even though it's like it seems unrealistic, there's also a little bit of realism in it. With, the Kings they made it clear last year that they want to go into win now mode. They want to make the playoffs. Even if they don't want to win a championship, they want to make the playoffs. That's why they decided to trade their young guy in Halliburton for a Sabonis and try to build around that Sabonis and Fox pairing. So, Christian Wood next to a guy like Sabonis, I feel like both of them together can be an adequate defensive front court, not to mention they're also getting Jayshawn Tate, who they can play at the 3 or even at the 4 in case they want to run, like small. But, this is like a win now move for the Kings. I feel like since they have Sabonis now, they're probably not going to end up bringing back Richaun Holmes next year in free agency, so they're probably just going to end up losing him, and they'd want to capitalize on his value right now since he had a pretty good season last year by trading him to the Rockets. So, this is, I feel like the Kings can probably get a better offer than this, but if the Rockets are able to pull this off at number 4, getting a guy like Jaden Ivey or, even maybe like Keegan Murray, just a lot of really, really great picks, along with our top 3 pick, I feel like the Rockets would definitely be the winners of the draft if they would have pulled this trade off.
Yeah, I mean, getting 3 and 4, that's incredible. And just with Holmes, like, you made a good point, with Sabonis, they're in a win now move. They traded Halliburton, so they'd probably be interested in seeing what they can get for pick number 4. But with Holmes, he's already 28 years old right now, but he is someone who knows his role and he plays it well, and his stats did considerably drop from the 2020 season to the 2021 season, and that's partly due to less minutes played due to acquiring Sabonis. So, but in that 2020 season, he had career highs in scoring, rebounding, blocks, field goals. He's great. He's a great rebounder, great in the pick and roll. He plays good interior defense. Yes, he plays with a lot of consistency and passion. So, I mean, Richaun Holmes would be a perfect guy just to fit as a puzzle piece. And even though he's 28 right now, I think he'll be great for the development of KBJ, Jalen Green, and whatnot. So I think that's a great trade for us. And let's just move on to the next one. This one is with the Knicks. So we trade Christian Wood and number 17 for Cam Reddish, a guy who Rockets fans have been wanting for a while, and Nerlens Noel, and pick number 11. So what do you think about this one?
Man, bring my guy Cam to Houston. I was a huge advocate for bringing him here. I feel like he's honestly like the perfect guy to put at the 3 next to KPJ and Jalen Green. So that would fill our spot at the small forward position, as well as bringing in Nerlens Noel, who's honestly a very underrated center in this game. Like, very good defensively, as well as we're trading our 7th. We're also getting a pick number 11. At pick 11, we can definitely get a steal, whether it be like a guy like a Dyson Daniels or Malachi Branham. There's a lot of guys that can fall at 11 as well. This, I feel like, is a very realistic trade that the Rockets and Knicks can make. The Knicks also would probably just want to bring in some talent because, yeah, I think they're just done bottoming out. I think they're going to try to go all in this offseason to try to bring in some guys. They just want to get back into the playoffs and, try to bring Madison Square Garden back to Showtime, big time. But if the Rockets were to pull this trade off, I really, really love this trade for them. For the Knicks, I can see them doing it. Getting guys like Christian Wood next to Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, and Emmanuel quickly. It's a decent lineup. But yeah, this would be an amazing trade for the Rockets.
Yeah, I mean, Cam Reddish, even though the Knicks traded for him, they didn't give up too much to acquire him, but he only averaged 14.4 minutes per game. He's struggling to crack the rotation actually, but he did have like a game where he dropped 17 points in 25 minutes. But he did end up averaging 6.1 points per game, 1.4 rebounds, 0.7 assists. But he does have grade 3 and D potential. He was suffering from ankle and shoulder injuries, but again, he's only 22. But yeah, his 3-point shot is kind of inconsistent. With he's shot in this past season, he shot 37% with the Hawks from 3, but only 25% with the Knicks. It's kind of inconsistent. Like he started off hot, then cooled off, but he has room for improvement in playmaking, decision making, and so. But with Noel, I'm pretty hyped. The offensive game is a bit limited, but he's 15 in blocks per game, so I think he'd be a great addition on this team. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. And the last trade we're going to be going over is Houston trading with the Charlotte Hornets. We're trading Wood and pick number 17 to the Hornets for Mason Plumlee, PJ Washington, and pick 13.
This, I feel like, is also a very realistic trade. I think the main thing would just be getting back PJ Washington and pick number 13. Mason Plumlee, I feel like it's more just like a salary filler to match with Wood's salary. But, PJ has been rumored. I don't know if they're going to really keep him. They want to run Miles Bridges at the 4 and maybe just get a center in this draft like Mark Williams, or even like now they get a Christian Wood if they were to do this. And, Christian Wood is a really good lob threat and just like a player that would probably fit very well next to LaMelo Ball. A guy who wants, who's a pass first guy, highlight guy, lob threat, lob pick and roller and everything. So this would definitely be really good for the Hornets. I feel like they get a really good guy to pair alongside their young budding stars. And for the Rockets, we get PJ Washington, who has shown promises in this league. He's not exactly a defensive anchor, but he can definitely hold his own. Mason Plumlee is just a veteran that gets tossed in. But then we also get pick number 13. So, that's definitely a clear upgrade. Even though we only move up 4 spots, as mentioned with this draft class, there is like a clear tier drop off around pick 15. I feel like that's where the tier 3 guy starts. So, the Rockets can still snag a guy right outside the lottery who can come in, play really well for them. And yeah, again, like I said, this is a pretty solid trade for both teams. It's a very realistic trade too. The Hornets are in desperate need of a center, and Christian Wood could definitely fulfill that hole for them.
Yeah, with Christian Wood, it might seem that these trade proposals might be a little unrealistic, but then again, he seems to be acquiring a lot of interest around the league. The Hornets were rumored to be interested in him, I think, earlier in the season, but obviously it didn't come to fruition. But with the players that we're getting returned, Plumlee, I think he'd be a great guy to have on this developmental team. He's 31 years old. He can be a backup center. He's not the greatest on defense. He has not that great on one-on-one matchups, pick and roll situations, post-ups. But he is a great offensive and defensive rebounder, great at passing lanes. He can be decent at switching at times, and he generally has good defensive awareness in positioning himself or passing to outside shooters or cutters. So Plumlee, I think he'd be a decent guy to get on for just as a center. He's not going to take up too many minutes, hopefully. So I think he's a great addition as a veteran presence. And PJ, like you said, 3 and D wing. He can play. He actually played power forward and center too. And he center for small ball lineups. He did average 10.3 points on a career high 47% shooting, 36.5% from 3, 5.2 rebounds, 2.3 assists. So yeah, he does have a lot of improvement to do in ball handling or attacking the basket, but then again, he is a young talent, so he is someone worth getting. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Christian Wood is probably, it really depends on who the Rockets honestly get at pick 3. I feel like if we were to get Paulo, I think we could end up running Paulo and Christian Wood together. It's not going to be the best fit, but at the same time, we don't really know what Rafael Stone is thinking. Christian Wood is a really solid player. It's just a matter of, can he be that defensive guy for us? Or maybe the Rockets are waiting to make a splash in free agency to, get a guy next to him. There's a lot of stuff. We don't know as much as Stone and these draft guys, but I mean, if the Rockets were to trade Christian Wood, I would be happy for him because he gets off this rebuilding team. He gets to go help a team win more versus, being with basically babysitting these young guys with us. He's basically a vet on our team, but yeah, I feel happy for him. I also feel really happy for the Rockets, going full youth movement and really showing like teams like, hey, not this year, but like 3 years down the line, we're going to build through the draft and we're just going to become a really solid team that you don't want to mess with in the near future.
Well said. And yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.